My name is Desormeau. This is Meagan LeBlanc-Montreuil, and we're going to be talking about some nature today. So what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about nature?
Definitely for me, I would say anything along the lines of like hiking, camping, just like real outdoor activities where you really just have to put yourself right into nature.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Definitely my first thought.
No, fair enough. When's the last time that you went camping?
Actually, just this past weekend.
Hey, how was that? Awesome. How was the weather? What was it like?
It was interesting. Everyone kind of thought that we were crazy for wanting to go out there when it's not quite spring yet. I mean, it's supposed to be, but it's still pretty chilly.
Right.
We were full on sleeping in a tent. We slept right next to rapids too, so we had that nice gust of wind coming off of the moving water.
Oh my god, that would have been loud.
Yes, it was really loud, but honestly, it was very soothing. Just like the constant sound of rushing water. It's a lot more relaxing than hearing cars passing by in the city. That's for sure.
Fair enough. There's always something that's very soothing about like just water in general, either whether it's like river water or ocean waves and crashing and things like that, rapids, or like rain. Rain always really like puts me in this really calm state of mind, super like soothing and healing, and like I just really enjoy the sound of just trees and rain and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. What did you guys wind up doing when you were camping? Just
basically just hanging out in the wilderness, getting a break. I mean, it was also a lot of physical activity because we really didn't bring anything other than some food to sustain ourselves.
Yeah, cool.
We pitched the tent on the only dry spot on our lot. Everywhere else was covered in mud. There was no dry wood, so we got to go out into the forest and look around for all of the trees that were no longer with us, and to take some of the dead branches and things like that, looking for dry pieces of birch that we could burn just to help the fire start. Because it was so wet, we really had to scavenge for some dry wood, so that took a lot of time.
Well, even like in the best of conditions, like finding good firewood and everything is a struggle, like as it is, and then having to go out there in such wet conditions, like oh wow,
exactly.
Kind of a lot.
Yeah, so it took a lot of hiking to get to the higher ground that was getting a little more sunlight, where we could actually find wood that was dry enough to actually burn.
No, fair
enough. After several hours of sawing and chopping and just going back and forth with that, we did end up with enough wood to sustain ourselves for the weekend. So that was great.
Okay, fair enough. So when did you like start hiking in the first place? Because me and Megan have known each other for quite some time, and she does really enjoy hiking, and that's an active part of her life. But I never ever heard the story of how you wound up getting going with that hobby.
Yeah, so when I was younger, my dad was always really into the outdoors. So he was in the Boy Scouts when he was younger. He grew up with his dad just doing lots of outdoor activities. He worked at Wilderness Tours when he was a teenager, and for those of you that don't know, that's a place where they do things like whitewater rafting. There's summer camps. It's a camp in nature. And he was a counselor there as a teenager, so that was always just a huge thing for him.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And so he used to take me camping all the time. When I was younger, we would just go out, the two of us. We would make our own fishing rods out of sticks and stuff in the woods, and tell me how to make campfires, just basically how to survive in the woods. And that was just always a big part of my life, and we've continued that as I've been growing up. And he's currently married to a woman that works with him in the Canadian government, but part of her job has always been to go and live in different parts of the world and work on projects there. So my dad's always really encouraged travel with me also, and when we travel, we always make sure to go on really nice nature excursions. So we always go on hikes. They're living in Nicaragua right now, so we get to, whenever I go visit them, we've actually gone and hiked active volcanoes.
Yeah, which is amazing. Like,
yeah.
That's like a once-in-a-lifetime kind of an opportunity. That's absolutely incredible. Sure. No, for sure. Like, I think it was my dad, too, who really got me invested into nature in general and really making it a good part of your life. He was a peacekeeper for the better part of 15 years or so when I was growing up. So being in the military, you're moving around a lot. A lot of the time they have to be near whatever base camp you are around, which for the most part is relatively remote. And we always had lived in the country. And so just having that as a base, I think, was incredibly helpful to me. And then as I got older and everything, the first time I ever went camping was when he was living in Vancouver and I was going to school in Victoria. And so it was on Vancouver Island, this place that we went, this beautiful beach called China Beach. It was right off the edge of a bit of rainforest and everything, so the trees were just massive and it was incredibly quiet. We saw a couple of cougars as well, which was terrifying.
No thanks.
I know, no thank you. We're like driving up into it and then 2 or 3 darted across the road. It was crazy, but it was such a wonderful time. And he really taught me a lot about just survival experiences and how to really take care of yourself, and when all else fails, like what do? What are the emergency things that you can do to keep yourself alive in like stressful situations, which is awesome because when I was in high school, I actually wound up taking a class called Outdoor Pursuits, and I got an A+ because all that knowledge, I can build that campfire, and, make those life rafts, hell yeah. So that was incredible. And so yeah, ever since really just being a part of nature and just, it really kind of brings me back to a sense of myself and a really nice sense of calm, which is not something that you get when you are surrounded by city life and lots of cars and noise and, you know, material things. It really kind of takes you away from what, you know, what should be, I think, you know, important values for most people. You know? So
I definitely agree. Not like